Let's talk a little bit just about what you guys did on the trip. Chip, do you want to just talk a little bit about the school?
I went a little earlier than the rest of the team because I went up to the Bible school that's located just outside Belgrade to teach the book of Revelation. And I had 13 students. It was a really great class, and you could tell that they have the kind of hunger that comes from knowing that they're getting ready to go and minister and wanting to be really well prepared for that. And the training that these students are getting at the school is basic Bible and theology. It's really mostly a survey of both the Old Testament and the New Testament. And the thing that's kind of interesting about that is that it really reflects the fact that God's Word applies to every single culture in every single time, and it has an enduring and overarching quality to it that means that it is relevant for every people in every age.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is different about the training that you provide for the Serbians, or just what's going to be the different challenges that they might experience as they go out to do ministry?
Okay, there are a lot of differences. I mean, they face an environment and a culture that's really different than ours, and in fact it's different enough that I think it's difficult for any American, no matter how long they live in Serbia, to really attach to the meaning of the culture and the ethos of the culture. For example, I think in America we face a lot of issues with affluence, and they don't. Mm-hmm. They probably have to deal with issues of unfairness that we'd take for granted. We have rights to things being fair, and they don't. And practical issues, abortion is the standard means of birth control in Serbia. And so things like that are going to be issues that they'd have to deal with to a much greater extent than we would.
Oh. Why don't you hand the mic to Gary, and why don't you tell me a little bit about what you guys did, what you were able to accomplish?
Right. All we did was work. And if you've never worked with Chip, baby, let me tell you, you work. Literally all we did for 5 days was pour concrete. The trail down to the Timok, but it was a lot of fun. Branko was out there with us, and I have to tell the story real quick. We had to go back and help Branko unload some brick out of the back of the truck. And so we're talking a big pallet of brick. We're talking, 1,000 bricks maybe or something like that we all did, Chinese fire drill style, just hand them off. And so Branko, poor guy, was the last guy. He was the one loading, and unfortunately he had me next to him. So we got kind of going pretty fast, and the next thing I knew, I conked him on the head with a brick. So, yeah, Branko will forever remember me as the American that conked him on the head with a brick. So,
all right, so let's skip ahead to the third team with the art trip, and I guess there's a couple things to this. What was the plan, and then what happened?
The plan was that we were going to do the art classes in Zaječar, because we had gone to the Pasoljada last year. It had been such a big success. We saw this great square.
We were celebrities.
We were on
the
TV. American delegation.
Yeah.
And, there's not really a place to do the classes themselves. There's no building, but the church in Bor has a building. So we looked, the church building's going to work great.
They closed down the main road through the city, and from 7 to 11 at night, people stroll the streets. And so it was a perfect place to be with a lot of traffic coming by.
And Jane was doing demonstrations. In fact, show them. This was a painting that she was doing, and I was working on something that I had brought. So, and the crowds just gathered, and then several other people were handing out brochures. So that's how actually we advertised the classes. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed painting outside and seeing the excitement on young people's faces, coming up and asking questions. And a lot of the younger children did speak some pretty fair English, I thought. In fact, better than me sometimes. So
better than I.
And our initial planning was that I would have some things ready for the children of parents who were taking the class. But because we were outside, other children in the neighborhood saw what we were doing. So we pretty quickly gathered a crowd. First night, gathered a crowd. And that night in particular, Jane was helping, and we were doing an exercise where the children were thinking about what they see in their city what they observe in their city, and Jane would paint it. She'd make these little white blobs with brown sticks that were sheep. And, it was really clever, and that really drew the children.
Then the very last night, Leah and I both gave our testimonies.
Ako niyo. Poznám to.
I was able to love people that were not very lovable.
Mogao sam voliti ljude koje nije lako voliti.
Have patience with my students.
Imati jako strpljenja sa svojim studentima, odnosno učenicima.
I never could do that before.
I nisam to mogla ranije uraditi.
The students were so thankful for having the opportunity to learn to paint and to draw. He had drawn this, and he said, I just want you to have this. This is my gift to you, thanking you for teaching us to paint. And usually everybody that paints just wants to, hold on to something. But he actually got that and brought it to me from something he had done before. Also, I had one young man who did a portrait of me.
What does it say on the right there?
On the back it says "Forever Best Friends." Friends best forever.